G'day folks, Ben from Snowies today, walking you through this handsome looking Coleman Cascade 3-in-1 camp stove.
Hit it.
This neat looking camp stove has a premium construction, 24,000 BTUs of heat output, comes complete with 2 griddle plates for versatile cooking and a removable pot support for easy cleaning. Before we dive in, we've got loads more content like this on our channel, so make sure you like and subscribe below. Now let's jump into the product. This is Coleman's Cascade 3-in-1 camp stove all packed up here. Really neat looking stove, nice solid feeling unit. It's got a little carry handle in the back here so it's easy to transport. Really well made. It weighs about 10 kilos and that includes the accessories over here that are included with the whole kit. The stove itself is about 6 and a bit and the accessories are about another 3 to 4 kilos, but 10 kilos for everything. This measures packed up like this, about 56 centimeters in length, about 34 centimeters in depth and about 9 centimeters in height. And that opens up to about 39 centimeters in height when this is sitting upright. About 66 centimeters in length because it's got little wings that come out the side, and about 36 centimeters in depth, so a little bit wider. Now that depth includes these handles here. So from the outside of this handle to the back there is 34 centimeters, allow a little bit more for when this pivots open. Now it's a steel construction. This has got a nice sort of matte feel to it, like a powder coated matte feel to the top and a powder coated feel to this here as well. And the latch on the front is, it's like a cast aluminium latch, a really durable, solid latch. So these are all metal components here and really positive handles on the front here, or knobs on the front here. So these aren't wobbly at all. They feel really positive when they're on and off. And then you get the piezo ignition here. We're going to light it up shortly and show you how all that works. I'll open it up and show you the inclusion. So this latch just opens up like this, then the lid lifts up as such, like this. Now that will fold all the way back, but you've got these wind guards here that you've got to swing out, and they've got little tabs or metal tabs, I suppose, that just slot into the little hole on the side there. You can adjust these in and out. This is where the width will vary a little bit. You do that on each side, and that's what supports the back of the stove. So now you've got the windshields and the back there. Now this kind of leans forward a little bit, so it does offer really good protection for the cooking space inside here. Moving on to what else is included, you can see you've got, this is a cast iron griddle that fits in here, and this is removable. So this comes out all together, which makes it easier to clean, but also allows you to store a few bits underneath. So you get a hose here so you can connect it to a regular LPG gas bottle. We'll go into a bit more on that shortly. And this is the regulator that you always need to use with the stove. Once again, we'll go into that shortly. But all of this packs inside the stove when you go to use it. We put this back on here and I'll show you the other accessories that come with it, because you get, and this is where the 3-in-1 comes into it. You've got your stove, you've also got a griddle plate here, which has got a ribbed section on the top there, and that just sits on top of the existing pot support here. And then you've got a flat plate as well. Now these are also cast iron, good quality cast iron, that sits on here, so you can still cook your eggs and things directly. Swabble it around so that locks into place. You can cook your eggs and things directly on this flat plate there. But then if you want to use a pot or a pan, you can take one of these off and just put the pot. I've got a couple. This is about a 28, 29 centimeter fry pan here. Fits on there quite easily. And I've also got a saucepan here, smaller saucepan that fits on there, so you can fit quite large pans on there. So you've got lots of versatile cooking options with this stove. Now these griddle plates don't store inside the stove. They probably rattle around a fair bit, but you do get a extra padded storage bag to put these inside of for transport. Little divider in the middle here, so you can slide one of these at the back there, slide another one at the front, and it's not going to bounce against each other in transport. Zip that up and you can store these in a separate spot in your vehicle or camp kitchen or whatever you want to use it for. So that's where your griddle plates go. So moving on to the gas connection, when you use gas on this stove, you always need to include this regulator in the system. So this will always, no matter what gas supply you're using, will always need to connect to the end of the stove here. So we push this into the end there till it firmly seats against the stove. And then you just screw this up so it's nice and firm on the stove. Now this always has to stay in the system. This is a specific regulator for this stove. You always use this regulator no matter what gas supply you're connecting it to. From here you've got some options. So you can use these disposable canisters. These will give you about 2.5 hours of run time on high, and you can screw this directly in here and you can run the stove off of one of these guys if you liked. You've also got the alternative to run it off a larger gas bottle. Could be a POL bottle, but the hose you get with this stove is this one here. This has a connection that goes into this regulator here, and then a 3/8 BSP connection that goes into the top of this stove here. So I'm going to run it today off of this stove. So I screw this into the regulator, just push this up till it sits firmly against the regulator. Screw that up so it's finger tight. We'll go back and check all these connections before we turn the gas on. So that's now connected to the regulator. The other end of the hose can go onto our gas cylinder here. Now this is a left-handed thread, so it does up in the opposite direction to what a regular screw would do up. So once we've tightened this up, we want to make sure all 3 points are nice and tight to the stove for safety purposes. We don't want gas leaks. We will then turn the gas on at the gas cylinder here and just make sure there are no leaks in this system here. Ideally, you'll grab some soapy water, spray these to make sure there's no gas leaking. I'm comfortable with how that's connected there at the moment, so we'll move on to lighting the stove. Now make sure your gas is away from the stove. The hoses aren't sitting over the burner. Now coming around to the front of the stove, you've got the 2 control knobs here, the gas control knobs for each one. They're off at the moment, and the piezo igniter is the red knob at the end here. When I flick that, that activates the piezo igniter. There's one on each of these burners, so we can light either burner independently. I'll do this end for this demo. So what I'm going to do is be ready with the piezo igniter here. This twists to the right-hand side. I'll turn this on, and as I hear gas flow, I'll flick the piezo igniter, and then the stove lights. So that's on quite low there. I can turn that right down. See how far I can go to really low simmer. I can feel a bit of heat about here. That's almost off there at the moment. So I can turn that right down. It's got really good simmer control. If I turn it up, we'll start to hear the flame really roar, and it goes up to 12,000 BTU for each of these burners, so 24,000 BTU total. Now that goes quite a long way around. A lot of turns before it actually stops, but that's roaring there now. That'd be a really quick boil if I was to put a stove on top of that one. To light the second burner over here, I turn the gas on, be ready on the igniter here again, and then that one's lit there as well. So now I've got both of those running. They can go up to 12,000 BTUs each, so 24,000 BTUs. In terms of runtime, they claim that you can get about 2.5 hours out of one of these canisters, which is about 468 grams. So you're looking at, what's that, a bit under 200 grams per hour of gas if you were using this on high. Much longer if you're using it on low. So lots of burn time. It's quite a quiet stove, certainly not noisy here at the moment, unless I turn that right up really high. So that's Coleman's Cascade 3-in-1 camp stove. A really nice looking stove. It's got really good simmer control. You can use pots and pans, large pots and pans on top of here with plenty of wind protection from the wind guards at the back here. It comes with the griddle so you can sear your steak and cook your eggs as well. You can take them on and off however you please. Really, really versatile and good looking camp stove that's also easy to clean. Gonna suit just about any camp chef's needs and perfect for family camping in particular. Check these out online at snowies.com.au.